Howdy y'all, today we have a major update for that alleged Grand Theft Auto 6 image found in the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, as well as we have a word from Rockstar. It's an apology for the disastrous launch of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. And I really want to hear what y'all think about this, so be sure to let me know down below in the comments. If you learned something new from this video, which I hope you do, or you just find it enjoyable, I hope that you can leave a thumbs up for the algorithm. I'll wait. And also consider hitting that clucking bell, man, or that's corny, but we're on the road to 1 million subscribers. Thank y'all so much for all the support. Starting out with a quick recap of this GTA 6, or this potential GTA 6 image, let's talk about how it started. So in GTA San Andreas, the Definitive Edition, there is an updated Easter egg at the Lil Probe Inn, where on the wall there are tons of images from Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. From those two games, and that's it. Aside from one random image, and it's of this house right here. So why are the rest Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2? That's what I ask you if you're a little bit skeptical on this and saying, well, it's just a random image. Well, if it's a random image, again, why isn't it just from Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption 2 like the other 12 are? So it stands out like a green hat with an orange bill, as Slim Shady said way back in the day. So the whole mystery behind this has to do with the setting of this image and where it looks to be. It looks to be a Florida setting, and as we know, when it comes to the topic of Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks, most of them point to a return to Vice City. And when I say most Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks, all the fake ones, which are built on the backbone of the verified ones. And of course, we do have a few verified leaks regarding Grand Theft Auto 6 from Rockstar insiders, from Take-Two Interactive themselves, and even Rockstar Games themselves, with some weapon files that corroborate with these Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks that were found in Red Dead Redemption 2. I actually have a video from January of this year breaking down all of those leaks with lots of definitive proof that I will link in the description if you feel like checking it out. So the amazing members of the Grand Theft Auto forums have been digging deep, trying to figure out where this house is, and a member by the name of Igrobar, man, listen, I do apologize if I slaughtered your name, but this user has actually come up with something that is very interesting. So I will say, if you look hard enough at anything, yes, your mind will form similarities that might not be there. But the thing is, there's a lot of people in the community that agree with this image here. So let's take a look. We got a comparison of the image from Grand Theft Auto and an image from a home in Miami, Florida, which, as we know, would corroborate with Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks, because GTA 6 will allegedly, and there is nothing confirmed here, but return to Vice City. And with that, we know that Vice City is Miami, basically. So we take a look here at what's going on. We see that the first thing pointed out is the foliage in the background. It happens to be in the same spot. The second thing would be the layout of the home. Now, I will throw in that this is a common layout. I'm from the southwestern United States, couple states over from Florida, but even here, this is a very common home layout for homes that were built between the 60s and the 90s, or maybe even the 50s through the 90s, because that was when the rise of the suburbs happened in the United States, and all the homes basically look the exact same. So the third thing pointed out, again, is the foliage, and then number 4 is the background. We see the sky, and a lot of really keen eyes and users on the GTA forums, and you guys in the comments of my last video pointed out that, yes, this background or this sky looks to have Red Dead Redemption 2 lighting, which is very interesting. So this image has been reverse image searched on Google, and there is no existence of it anywhere. So it can't be a stock image, and therefore it looks to be something created specifically for this wall. And again, I have to say, why would all these images have Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, and then this one be there to stick out like a sore thumb if it was there for no reason? So on the topic of that, because this would be considered an asset, I guess you could say, Rockstar New York City producer Rich Rosado actually talked about in an interview last week regarding the GTA Trilogy assets being reused and created. So as we know, the trilogy was outsourced by Grove Street Games. So would Grove Street Games have access to these assets? Well, in this interview, Rich Rosado basically says yes. So either Grove Street Games had permission to throw this asset in here, or at this image, or Rockstar obviously slipped it in. Now, another thing that I do want to mention on the topic of this, and the fact that, well, if this house here happens to be the one that this image was modeled after, why didn't the Rockstar developers or Grove Street game developers create the same exact image? Well, again, on the GTA forums, and there's an actual Grand Theft data map that compares real-life locations to the in-game counterparts for Grand Theft Auto 5 that is super detailed, that I will link in the description. You could see that when the Rockstar developers were creating these assets or these homes, they are not an exact copy. There are minor changes. So that would be why it's not the exact same. And personally, I think that this image was inspired by this real-life location. But again, it's not going to be a direct copy and paste. So that's what I find very, very interesting about this above all else. And the fact that, wow, an inspiration for this was actually found. I can't believe that. And again, to find that in Miami on Google Maps, I will leave a link to the GTA forums thread in the description, and you can check this out for yourself, simply because I don't want to include the location or the address of this in this video, due to the fact that that's most likely somebody's home. And if I put that in a video where tons of eyes see, there are some crazy people out there on the internet. So feel free to check all those sources down below. I do link them in every single video because, listen, I've got nothing to gain by spreading false information at all. The money's not even worth it at that point. I care about this too much, and I care about y'all too much to mislead you. So with that said, let me know what you think down below about this. It could be nothing, but again, why in the world is this random image placed there? It sticks out for a reason. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about Rockstar Games, because they apologized for the trilogy. They left us a note 2 days ago. So I'm a little late to the party, and if you want to skip through this, if you've already read it, then there's chapter systems at the bottom of the video. But 2 days ago, Rockstar said, "Hi everyone. We want to provide an update regarding the unexpected technical issues that came to light as part of the Trilogy Definitive Edition launch. Firstly, we want to sincerely apologize to everyone who has encountered the issues playing these games. The GTA series and the games that make up this iconic trilogy are special to us, as we know they are to fans around the world. The updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. We have ongoing plans to address the technical issues and to improve each game going forward with each planned update." A title update is on the way, and this actually already came out, but a title update is going to be coming. But in the meantime, it pains us to mention that we are hearing reports of members of development teams being harassed on social media. We would kindly ask our community to please maintain a respectful and civil discourse around this release as we work through these issues. While one of the goals of the definitive editions was to allow players to enjoy these games on modern platforms for many years to come, we also understand that some of you would still like to have the previous classic versions available for purchase. So we'll be adding the classic PC versions of the trilogy back to the Rockstar store shortly as a bundle. Additionally, everyone who has purchased the trilogy will receive through June 30th, 2022, the classic versions in their Rockstar Games launcher library at no cost. Once again, thank you for your patience and understanding while we work through these updates to ensure the games meet everyone's justifiably high standards. So, interesting thing there. Listen, I have a Grand Theft Auto based YouTube channel, but that does not mean that I'm a super diehard Rockstar Games fan. I enjoy the work that they have put out in the past, but yes, I will say, while I have overlooked a lot of the issues in the trilogy, because again, I've played Grand Theft Auto for so long, there's certain things I'm not looking for and things that I can overlook. Rockstar definitely dropped the bombshell on this. They outsourced the work. It should have been Rockstar quality. This trilogy has allegedly been in the works for 2 years, so what we got definitely did not meet the standards of what, again, Rockstar Games fans would expect, being that we've gotten Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, and so much more. But again, I just remind myself this was outsourced. This was not Rockstar themselves. But again, with Rockstar outsourcing this, the quality should have been matched or even better. And really, if it were up to me, because the Trilogy Definitive Edition is a remaster, I would have personally preferred Rockstar take GTA 3, Vice City, or San Andreas, tear it down, and remake one of those games from the ground up, much like we saw with the Mafia Definitive Edition last year, which was a beautiful remake and one of my favorite games ever now, just simply because it was amazingly done. So it does suck or it is a shame, I suppose, to see Rockstar falling along the lines of CD Projekt Red, for instance, with Cyberpunk, and many other developers releasing rushed, unfinished projects. These days, it's just a common, reoccurring theme that seems to be happening so much that it is the new normal, and that's kind of disheartening to see. In my opinion, or not in my opinion, but it makes me wonder, are these developers out of touch with their communities that they're building these games for? What is going on? Is it corporate America taking over? I have no clue. But again, are they out of touch with the communities and the games? Are the developers working on, say, the Trilogy Definitive Edition, for instance, out of touch with Grand Theft Auto? Have some of these developers who might be younger never even played any of these games to understand the detail and the love that goes into it, or took a look into the community, as Rockstar doesn't even really interact with their community anymore? And that's real sad to see, because Rockstar used to be amazing with that, with lore, with facts and different things that go on with their games. It just brought everybody together. So again, I guess we just live in a world of everything is always changing, but it makes me think of, since we're on the topic of Rockstar, obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2 and the story of how the Wild West is phasing out, and you got to roll with the punches and the changing of times. And, a lot of games that we love so much today that are really old now were created by literal nerds in basements. A group of nerds who had a love and passion for video games. Nowadays, that still exists, but the thing is, a lot of these major game developers have grown and evolved over time. Those nerds from back then are now 40, 50 years old with families. They're in different places in life. And this new generation, even though I'm sure the creativity and the passion is there, they are ruled by corporate greed, which would be like Take-Two, for instance, telling them what to do, pull the strings, the deadlines, and everything involved. And that's my unsolicited thoughts that nobody asked for. That could be totally wrong, but that's just kind of the way I see it. And again, is what it is. There's nothing too much that can really be done other than voicing what's going on and hoping that certain changes can be made. And if I could voice one thing, it would be that Rockstar Games interact with the community more so they know what's going on and how everybody feels. Well, what do y'all think of that? Do you think that this image could potentially be a tease of Grand Theft Auto 6? Either way, if you do or don't, we won't know until Grand Theft Auto 6 officially releases, and that could be 20 years from now, or at least it seems like it. But either way, I hope y'all did enjoy the video. Let me know too, what do you think of Rockstar's apology? They definitely could have done better, so hopefully we see better in the future and more communication. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You better do it right now. And hey, I hope to see y'all in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in.